All right, Jim, our next question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from George C. Powell. Hello, Jim and Brian. I've been an avid listener of both podcasts for almost 2 years. Over the years, I've learned a lot about the wrestling business. I would like your thoughts on if small crowds bring more energy to a wrestling program. I have recently watched some Impact Wrestling, which has a small crowd, but they seem so energetic and appreciate the action in the ring and put the AEW crowd to shame at times and make them look like uneducated and unsophisticated garbage wrestling fans. Hope you are well, gentlemen. Sincerely from Vicksburg, Mississippi. By the way, once again, the subject line I'll read here. Do small crowds have better atmosphere in pro wrestling?
Well, I mean, again, if you only have 100 people in a place, they are the 100 people that wanted to see that more than they wanted oxygen at that moment, right? When you got down, those are the most faithful, dedicated fans that you could possibly have. And so they're going to make noise with whatever they see or whatever they encounter, but it's always better to have more of those people. I mean, a small crowd does not help the atmosphere. A small crowd kind of brings it down. But I mean, I guess today guys are used to, small crowds. But back in the day, I mean, if it was TV, you did your best because it was going to be seen on television. It was going to live on tape and other people were going to see it rather than just the few in the building. But if there was nobody in the building, then no, it didn't help the show because who wants to go out and take fucking bumps and, potentially injure themselves in front of 100 people and your payoff's going to be the shits because there's only 100 people there. Now, later on, guarantees came in, which I've mentioned, both helped guys and also killed a lot of people's incentive to work harder. But even if you've ever been a star of any kind and you're in a building where it seats 1,000 and there's 800 and they're really into it, and you're going to do your best if you give a shit at all about what you're doing. But if when it gets down to where there's 150 people someplace, and regardless of the amount of money you're making, what the fuck? How can you, like I said, I guess now the guys are used to that and they don't think about it, but how can you psych yourself up to go out there and take bumps and get hit and be stiff and work hard, whatever, 150 fucking people looking at it? It's just, I mean, that's another thing about the business that has changed is I've mentioned this. I think maybe when I went to Madisonville, Kentucky for a spot show once a month, that for whatever reason, Teeny just had to run that town for a while. It'd be 8 guys and a referee on the card, and there'd be 175 people there. And I'd never seen anything like that. They didn't run pro wrestling shows in front of that small amount of people, at least in my experience back in those days. So all the people there may be screaming and yelling and jumping up and down, but when you're in that small of a building and that small of a crowd, I just don't see how that's where you test your ability to work and find a way to entertain those people and keep them busy and give them what they came for without killing yourself. But it certainly doesn't add to the atmosphere of a wrestling show when there's fewer people there.